When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. These are the words, the famous words, of economist Charles Goodhart. He introduced this concept in 1975, and it still holds true today, especially in the world of social media. On platforms like Instagram and Twitter, people dream of building these giant audiences of followers, but when follower counts become the target, it leads to undesirable outcomes. In this video, we'll talk about the pitfalls of focusing on follower count, the negative consequences of over-optimizing for it, and some prevention methods to help you build a quality audience on social media. Let's start with the pitfalls of focusing on follower count. When you over-optimize for follower count, you'll end up with a large number of low-quality followers. These followers aren't really interested in the content you create, but are merely following you in the hopes of receiving a follow back or winning that giveaway that they followed you for. They're not there for you, they are there only for themselves. They want something better. You want a connection. Optimizing for follower count alone does not create meaningful relationships. When followers are simply a means to an end, you're not acting in their interest, just your own, and that will make it impossible for trust and the real connection to appear. The quality of each relationship matters, not the quantity. It's just like with real-life friendships. When you're in trouble, your true and most loyal friends, they will be there for you, not the thousands of acquaintances that you made along the way. We humans, we have this need for meaningful connection, and we will put in the work to make these relationships valuable if we see them being reciprocated. If you treat new followers only as a number, this won't happen. There's another problem here when you only focus on the size of your audience. The emotional impact of a dip in your followers is painful, and it becomes very noticeable when you track them every day on some dashboard. If you focus on relationships instead, this is by far not as much of a problem. You know it from your own friends and family too. The natural ebb and flow of relationships is so much more subtle. Some days people are in a good mood and on other days they are not. We expect that. Ups and downs are part of the journey. But if we see that follower count dip, even by just one person, we freak out. Loss aversion kicks in and we beat ourselves up over it. Here's a great example of how focusing way too much on one metric destroys the very thing it's supposed to represent. Look at search engine optimization, or SEO. If you try to find a recipe online, you will come across someone's life story leading into what ends up being just a two-step recipe with like 3 ingredients. This is what happens when you optimize only for the Google PageRank algorithm. The content becomes tailored to the algorithm, not the human that is actually reading it. So in our efforts to make our recipes more visible on Google, we made them less accessible for the people who actually need to cook. And then we kicked that into a whole other gear. Because once people thought they understood the secrets of SEO, they started bot farms and traded links with each other, all to please that algorithm instead of creating more interesting websites. Being ranked on Google, that says very little about the quality of your website anymore. It just tells you how well you play the game of serving the algorithm. It makes the world a little worse for everyone involved. So stay off the simple metrics, or measure something that doesn't have discrete real-time numbers, like how engaged you feel with your audience. It's better to use these unmeasurable factors as the North Star for your audience building. Besides your own enjoyment and how engaged you feel, get a feeling for the quality of your relationships, the size of the opportunity surface that those relationships create, and just how much people are willing to reciprocate and show kindness to another. And that shines a light on another problem of focusing just on the follower count. These less measurable but way more specific measurements are often neglected. It's never just one number that can describe something as complex as this massive web of interpersonal connections. So how do we stay clear of this mistake when building an audience? The key is to be aware of Goodhart's law and to actively work against it. It starts with how well we can isolate our follower counts from our personal identity. Your worth as a person doesn't rely on how many followers you have, and a big crowd around you doesn't make you more important or better at your job. What matters is what you do with and for the people who care about you. This means creating content that is valuable, informative, and most importantly, relationship forming. Successful audience builders focus on engagement rather than follower count. They take the time to respond to comments and messages, engage in conversations with their followers honestly and intentionally, and then create content that encourages engagement and relationship building at the same time. Remember that building a quality audience just takes time. It's not something that will happen overnight, and it requires this consistent level of effort and dedication to happen eventually. When it comes to engaging with people, remember Immanuel Kant's formula of humanity from 1785. Act in a way that treats humanity, whether in your own person or the person of any other, always at the same time as an end, never merely as a means. Always make your interactions about creating win-win situations for other people. Building this community of engaged and interested individuals around you takes patience and persistence, but it's absolutely worth it. If you focus on engagement rather than follower count, you will create a successful and sustainable social media presence that delivers real value to your audience. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And don't forget, when it comes to building an audience on social media, quality always trumps quantity. So maybe leave a quality comment down below or engage with somebody else's.